So good evening everyone. आज environment education 11th क्लास का उसका फर्स्ट चैप्टर उसको रीड आउट करेंगे और डिस्कस करने का कोशिश करेंगे. So environment education EVS first chapter class 11th is environment and sustainable development, and it has five subparts: the disciplinary nature of environment, scope and importance, national and international operations, contribution of people for environment protection, and sustainable development. These are five subtopics under the first chapter, environment and sustainable. So if I get anywhere wrong, so please forgive for that in advance. Now let's start. This is the first chapter of class 11th EVS, environment and sustainable development, which will first start with interdisciplinary nature of environment. Environmental studies deal with every issue that affects living organisms. It is essentially a multidisciplinary approach that brings about an appreciation of our natural world and human impact on its integrity. And the word environment derived from the word French word which is environ, meaning surroundings. Example: everything around us is environment, like our room, our city, our place, our country, our nation, our world, or our uh, surroundings, which is French word environment, which is surroundings. So, and there is a fact here which is World Environment Day celebrated on 5th June everywhere, every year. Then we'll moving on. The environment provides us with a basic life support system through air, water, and food. We cannot continue to survive without protecting the Earth's environmental resources. Some of the basic terms related to the environment are like environment. It includes all aspects of the world around us in which humans, animals, and plants live with non-living things. Second one, ecology. Ecology is a science that studies the relationships between living organisms and non-living things. It studies the structure and function of the nature. Then environmental science, EVS, it is the systematic and scientific study of an environment. It integrates knowledge from the pure sciences, ecology, engineering, management, social science, and other aspects and other subjects. Then environment education. This is a subject concerned with learning and all environment issues. It has a wider coverage than environmental science or ecology. It also includes the social aspects of the environment. Environmental degradation is the damage caused to the environment due to various human activities which harm our surroundings. Example: deforestation, pollution of water, air, soil, like this. Then environmental conservation. It includes ways in which to protect nature and control the damage caused to our natural environment. Like when we prevent the killing of wildlife or we turn a barren land into a forest, we are conserving the environment. Environment has four segments which are atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. First, we'll talk about atmosphere. Atmosphere is about 99% of the total Earth's atmospheric mass is concentrated in the first 30 km above the Earth's surface. Based on characteristics such as temperature and composition, the Earth's atmosphere can be divisible into following layers like troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, exosphere. So the layers of atmosphere are: first, troposphere. Troposphere is at about 12 km from Earth's surface. The lowest layer from the surface of the Earth is known as troposphere. The temperature decreases according to the height at this level. The drop of temperature rate at every 160-meter height is above 10 degrees Celsius. The temperature differs at different heights and at different layers. Although this layer is smaller than the other layers, and it is important as regards the weight of air, and it covers 80% of the atmospheric air. Other elements of the air are vapor, water molecules, dust, and microscopic organisms are found in this layer. This layer is very important and useful for the life of living beings in which rain, wind, storm, hail, snow, clouds, etc. exist. Tropopause, which is the layer that separates troposphere and stratosphere layers, is called as tropopause. which is at 2 to 3 kilometer above the troposphere. It is umbrella-like coat of air which has stable air, rain, wind, lightning, clouds, storm, etc. Do not exist in this layer, and the tropopause has a width of 1.5 kilometer and temperature of this layer is about minus 53 degrees Celsius. It also contains high amount of dry ozone. Then moving to the stratosphere part. Stratosphere is a layer between tropopause and stratopause. The height of this layer keeps changing according to seasons. Temperatures remain constant for certain height of the layer, but beyond 32 km of height, the temperature increases. This layer is called isothermal zone. The heat from the sun is absorbed in this layer, hence temperature is retained. The extension of this layer is much higher in the summer than in the winter. The air in this part of the atmosphere is sparse, and humidity, dust, clouds, etc. are not exactly the same. Ozonosphere is a layer of ozone which covers at a height of about 20 to 35 km from the surface of the earth. When the ultraviolet radiation from sunlight come in contact with oxygen, they are pressed and ozone gas is produced. The scientific name of ozone gas or the chemical name is O3. O2 is oxygen and O3 is ozone. Ozone layer absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays radiated from sun, hence the temperature of ozone layer increases. This layer protects life on earth, hence ozone layer is called protective umbrella of earth. Today, due to increasing pollution, the layer of ozone is becoming weak. That results in increase in global temperature or global warming. This has become a serious matter in terms of survival of living organisms and the humans. Then moving to the ionosphere part, is the third aspect. Ionosphere is a layer found beyond the stratosphere around 360 to 400 km from the surface of the Earth, which is until the end of atmosphere. It extends from 104 to 112 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. The radio waves travel from this layer to the Earth, because of which we can listen to the radio. Only 1% of the air is present in this layer of the total atmospheric air. The mesosphere extends up to 85 km from the stratosphere. The top of the mesosphere called mesopause. It is the coldest part of Earth's atmosphere with temperature averaging about minus 90 degrees Celsius or minus 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Jets and balloons do not go high enough in this layer. Then moving to the exosphere part, last aspect. So exosphere extends from 500 to 750 km from the surface of the Earth at a height of about 490 km. Radio waves of a temperature of around 1700 degrees Celsius, which has been detected through rocket and radio waves. This layer contains neutral atoms of oxygen, helium, and hydrogen. At a height of about 2000 km from the Earth's surface, the neutral atoms have an effect called a magnetic circle. Now we'll move to the role of atmosphere in climate. Like, what is the role of atmosphere in our climate? What is its importance? So, Earth is able to support a wide variety of living beings because of its diverse regional climate that range from extreme cold at the poles of tropical heat at the equator. A region's climate is often described, for example, as sunny, windy, dry, or humid. But while the weather can change in just a few hours, climate changes over a longer span of time. Earth's global climate is an average of regional climates. Today, we are experiencing unusually rapid warming. The scientific consensus is that the greenhouse gases are increasing because of human activities and trapped heat in the atmosphere. Then, going to the hydrosphere part, hydrosphere covers more than 71% of the Earth's surface either as oceans, which is salt water, or as fresh water. Hydrosphere includes both surface and underground water like sea, river, oceans, lakes, ponds, streams, and wetlands are all water bodies. Then lithosphere. Lithosphere, it includes the Earth's crust and upper mantle like the soil and beneath. It contains the fossil fuels and minerals and the soil chemicals with nutrients needed to support plant life. Biosphere. Biosphere is a portion of Earth where living organisms like the biotic organisms are found and interact with one another and with their non-living like abiotic environment. This zone of life includes plants, animals, humans and their habitat. Now the scope and importance. So this is the like our support system, our Earth. The general structure of earth, in which this is the atmosphere, like the atmosphere, biosphere, and the vegetation and animals, and we live here. Then soil, then rock, crust. We found the fossil fuels here in this part, and like the upper part, and the minerals. Then this is the core of the earth, which is around 8,000 degrees Celsius, and this is mantle, and this is the upper crust. So the upper layer is called upper crust, then second is mantle, the third, the last layer, in center layer, is called as core. Then we'll moving to the scope and importance of environment. So environment is not a single subject. It is an integration of several subjects that include both natural science as well as social science. To understand all the aspects of our environment, we need to know about life sciences, chemistry, physics, geography, resource management, economics, and engineering, and social science. Population issues of poverty, resource use, and allied issues. Thus, the scope of environment education is extremely wide and covers some aspects of nearly every major discipline. If we study the natural history of the areas in which we live, we would see that our surroundings were originally a natural landscape, such as forest, river, mountain, desert, marine environment, or a combination of these elements. Like on this day or now, on the land we are living, or on the land our home or house is created, in back in time in history, maybe there is some sea or some landscape such as forest, river, like that. So most of us live on landscapes that have been profoundly modified by human beings into villages, towns, or cities. We get our food supply from surrounding villages, which in turn are dependent on natural landscapes such as forest, grasslands, and rivers for resources. The industrial development and intensive agriculture practice that provide the goods for our increasing consumer-oriented society uses up a large amount of natural resources. Consequently, these will get exhausted in the near future. If we continue to extract them, there will be nothing left for the next generation, the upcoming generations, like the after the Gen Z generation. Rapid economic growth and unplanned development has inevitably led to environmental degradation. The environment affects us in many ways due to weather change, quality of air, and water. We in turn affect the natural environment often negatively. We cut trees or throw away our garbage, which has an adverse effect on the environment. In an industrialized era that we live in today, every component of our environment, such as air, water, or food, are impacted by industrial activities, infrastructure development, population exploration, and pollution. So this is a interdisciplinary nature of environment. Environmental science consists of all other many major subjects like chemistry, physics, economics, sociology, law, biology, political science, engineering, computer science, earth science, philosophy, agriculture, and many more. Then how can you contribute to our environment? Like how can we the humans contribute to our environment? Like we can gain knowledge about various types of environmental problems and different environmental hazards. Then by creating a concern and respect for the environment, begin to appreciate and adopt the ideas of development without destruction of the environment, play an effective role in protecting the environment by understanding and following environmental laws. Learning by doing can be achieved in the environment by doing experiments at micro and macro levels with air, water, soil, plants, animals, and their interactions with each other. Then, sorry, environment education and awareness. So, since 1970, many national and international conferences have been held to enhance environmental awareness, and like till now, so many conferences are taking place in such different cities and places to make people aware about the environment and to educate people about the environment. And however, most people recognize the urgent need for more information and action through environmental education. India is one of the major countries having large number of NGOs working on environmental awareness campaigns. The role of mass media and various public institutions that furthered environment awareness is a key to better environmental management. This will need to integrate economic long-term growth with the need of environmental conservation. Increasing population, urbanization, and poverty have generated pressure on natural resources and led to environmental degradation. To prevent the environment from further degradation, Honorable Supreme Court of India has ordered and initiated environmental protection awareness programs through government and non-government agencies who must take part in protecting our environment. Environmental pollution can be prevented by laws alone. Public participation is equally important for environmental protection. Environment education is a process of learning by imparting an overall perspective of knowledge and awareness of the environment. It sensitizes the society about environmental issues and challenges. Individuals must develop relevant skills, expertise, and must be able to provide appropriate solutions. Then the steps of environment education, like first one is knowledge. Knowledge in this will provide individuals with information to acquire basic understanding of environment, its associated problems and their solutions. Then awareness help communities to create awareness of their own environmental issues and sensitize them towards environmental problems and solutions. Attitudes help individuals acquire a set of values and feelings of concern for the environment and motivation for active participation in environmental improvement and protection activities. Skill develop skills for identification of problems and provide solution for environmental management. And values imbibe and inculcate values and the need for conservation of natural resources. Now moving to the national and international organizations part. So there are several government and non-government organizations, NGOs, that are working towards environmental protection and for conservation of natural resources. Like the first one is Botanical Survey of India, which is BSI. It was established in 1890 with the objectives of exploring the plant resources of the country and identifying plant species with economic values. Its headquarters is located in Kolkata. I have been there once, and they are managing a very huge area of park, or I will say a sanctuary type thing, which has so many plants and greeneries and like water bodies. Then the objectives of BSI are undertaking intensive floristic surveys and collecting accurate and detailed information on the occurrence, distribution, ecology, and economic utility of plants in the country. Then the Forest Research Institute, which is FRI, was established in 1906 at Dehradun to conduct training, research, and management of protection of forest. This institute provides training for forest officers and forest rangers of our country. Then third one is Zoological Survey of India, ZSI. It was established on 1st July 1916 to promote survey, exploration and research leading to the advancement of our knowledge in various aspects of animal life. Its headquarters is located in Kolkata. The main objectives of ZSI are exploration survey, interviewing and monitoring of faunal diversity in various states, ecosystems and protected areas of our nation, India. The International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN). It was established on 5th October 1948 as the first global environmental union. It brought together governments and civil society organizations with a shared goal to protect nature. Its aim is to encourage international cooperation and provide scientific knowledge and tools to guide conservation action. Its headquarters is located in Switzerland. It is an international organization. Then IUCN played a fundamental role in the creation of key international conventions, including the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, which is in 1971, the World Heritage Convention 1972, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species Sites 1974, and the Convention on Biological Diversity (CBD) 1992. In 1980, IUCN, in partnership with the United Nations Environment Programme (UNEP) and the World Wildlife Fund (WWF), published the World Conservation Strategy, a groundbreaking document which helped define the concept of sustainable development and shaped the global conservation and sustainable development agenda. Then, moving to the National Environment Engineering Research Institute, which is NERI or NEERI, which is in Nagpur, is a constituent of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR). New Delhi, and has a nationwide presence with its five zonal laboratories, which are at Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Mumbai, all the metropolitan cities of our nation. The mandate of NEERI is to conduct research and development studies in the environmental science and engineering, to render assistance to the industries of the region and local bodies in solving the problems of environmental pollution. Its vision is to create leadership in environmental science and engineering for sustainable development. Then World Wildlife Fund for Nature, which is WWF. It was established in April 1961 at Switzerland, and the giant panda became the logo for WWF. WWF's wildlife trade arm, which is Traffic Trade Record Analysis of Flora and Fauna in Commerce, launched on extensive publicity campaign to combat illegal wildlife trade in 1986. Flora and fauna is other name for biotic and abiotic organisms. WWF aims to stop the degradation of the planet's natural environment and build a future in which humans live in harmony with nature. It aims in conserving the world's biological diversity, ensuring that the use of renewable natural resources is sustainable, promoting the reduction of pollution and wasteful consumption. Then the United Nations Environment Program (UNEP), it was established in 1972 with the headquarters of Nairobi, Kenya. It is the leading global environmental authority that sets a global environmental agenda. It also promotes the implementation of environmental dimensions of sustainable development within the United Nations system. UNEP's mission is to provide leadership and encourage partnership in caring for the environment by inspiring, informing, and enabling nations and people to improve their quality of life without compromising that of future generations. Then Central Pollution Control Board CPCB is a statutory organization constituted in 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Further, CPCB was entrusted with the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. The functions of the CPCB, Central Control Board, at the national level is to advise the central government on any matter concerning prevention and control of water and air pollution and improvement of the quality of air. Then a state organization which is Maharashtra Pollution Control Board (MPCB). MPCB was established in 1970. The functions of MCB includes to collect, plan, and disseminate comprehensive information program for the prevention, control, or abatement of pollution. To inspect sewage or influent treatment and disposal facilities and air pollution control system. Supporting and encouraging the developments in the fields of pollution control, waste recycle, use, reuse, recycle, the R's, and eco-friendly practices, etc. Creation of public awareness about the clean and healthy environment. Then the Bombay Natural History Society (BNHS) was the pioneer organization started for conservation in India. A pan-India wildlife research organization was initiated in 1883. It is one of the largest non-governmental organizations in India engaged in conservation and biodiversity research. It supports many research efforts through grants and publishes the Journal of the Bombay Natural History Society. Its mission is to conservation of nature, primarily biological diversity through action-based research, education and public awareness. Its vision is to excel in the conservation of threatened species and habitats. The main activities of BNHS include natural history collection, research on various species and habitat, conservation of landscapes and seascapes, environmental information system outreach like camps, exhibitions, lectures, and other events, conservation education centers, communications and advocacy, university studies, library, wildlife publication, and souvenirs. Then Institute of India (WII) is established in 1982. Wildlife Institute of India is an internationally acclaimed institution which offers training program, academic courses, and advisory in wildlife research and management. The institute is actively engaged in research across the breadth of the country and biodiversity-related issues. Its headquarters is located in Dehradun. So, the aims and objectives of WII are to build up scientific knowledge on wildlife, to train personnel for conservation and management of wildlife and carry out research, to collaborate with international organizations and develop as a regional center of international importance. Environmental Information System in India, which is ENVIS, it established in 1982 by the Government of India as an information system that provides environmental information to decision makers, policy planners, scientists, engineers, researchers, etc. across the country. We'll move to the fourth subtopic. which is contribution of people for environment protection, like the people who have contributed for the environment protection. Dr. Salim Ali, he was an Indian ornithologist and naturalist, which is often referred as the Birdman of India. Like his character is played also in that Akshay Kumar's film. I like Akshay Kumar and Rajnikant film. I don't remember the name of the film. So he is known as the Birdman of India. He was the first person to introduce systematic ornithology when nobody was aware of distribution of birds in India. Kelardo National Park, which is Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, was established after Dr. Salim Ali's continuous interventions. He fought to save the Silent Valley National Park in Kerala, where the government planned to construct a hydroelectric power project. His research on the habitat of Weber birds was appreciated by ornithologists all over the world. In 1967, he received the J. Paul Wildlife Conservation Award, a prestigious award in conservation. Now, MC Mehta. If you are a law student, or I am also a law student, so MC Mehta is a very, means the name which are listening very much in our law career, because MC Mehta is the one. If you have environment law, if you want to study, if you are studying environment law, then you will have to know about MC Mehta. MC Mehta is the, I if I say, MC Mehta is the father of environment law. If I would say, like in India, he has done so many contributions to the environment. Like his name is marked in at almost every environmental cases. Undoubtedly, India's most famous environmental lawyer since 1984 has filed several public interest litigations (PILs) for supporting the cause of environmental conservation. If we say that, if we, someone asks who is the best environmentalist in your, means one of the best environmentalists in your eyes, then I would say MC Mehta. He used his career like, he was a lawyer. He used his career as a very good weapon for the, like the conservation of environment, or to and to give his contribution for the environment. So, and his most famous and long drawn battles, including protecting the Taj Mahal, cleaning up the Ganga River, banning intensive shrimp farming on the coast, initiating government to implement environmental education in the schools and colleges, and variety of other conservation issues. Like if we are studying EVS, environmental studies, then we would thank Mr. MC Mehta, who has done for this, who has fought for this. So through his work, MC Mehta has the national agenda in the field of water and air pollution, vehicular pollution control, coastal zone conservation, and the translocation of heavy industries from urban areas. He has obtained more than 40 landmark judgments and numerous orders from the Honorable Supreme Court against the polluter. Like, if you think about the number 40 landmark judgments, then so what do we learn? This is separate box. It shows that there are adequate environmental laws in India to further conservation of natural resources and prevent pollution. We can use them when we wish to take action against the environmental destruction caused by unsustainable development. More importantly, Mehta's work has shown what a single determined individual could do to protect the environment. His story is an inspiration to all of us who are worried about our environment. Then Sundarlal Bhagu, sorry if I mispronunciate him. He initiated the Chipko movement, which became an internationally well-known example of highly successful conservation action programs through the efforts of local people for guarding their forest resources. Like I would give a short review of Chipko Andolan, Chipko movement, in which the government wanted to cut that area, or cut that the forest. Then the people of that village go and hug that tree. That no, we will not let you cut the tree. So if you want to cut the tree, cut ourselves also. So they hug the tree, like वो उनसे उन पेड़ों से चिपक गए थे. That's why चिपको movement. So his fight to prevent the construction of the Tehri Dam in a fragile earthquake prone setting is a battle that he continued to wage. Then Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. He is called as the father of Green Revolution of India. He was one of the India's foremost agriculture scientists and has showed concern about various aspects of biodiversity, conservation of both traditional crops and wild species. He has founded the Dr. M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, which is in Chennai, which works for the conservation of biological diversity. Then there is a fact, which is, do you know The story of Bisnois, like not the that Bisnoi. So the Bisnois of Rajasthan have been known for their concern for trees, birds, and animals. Like the community of Bisnois, they are very concerned about their environment, their nature, their culture, their trees, birds, and animals. In 1730, Abhay Singh, the king of Jodhpur, wanted large quantities of wood for burning bricks to build his new palace. He sent his minister Giridhar Das with wood cutters to cut the trees in the Bisnois in the Khejarli village. Amrita Devi, a local resident of the village, wanted to save the tree. He was also a Bisnoi community girl, and she rushed in and hugged the tree to protect them. She told Giridhardas and cutters to stop operations, do not cut the tree. Her daughters too followed her example. Giridhardas ordered his men to proceed and they cut down the trees and the news spread and more villagers came to the rescue of the tree. But the cutting continued, and by nightfall, 363 people had given their lives for the cause of forest protection. Like we can see how the Bisnois is where the Bisnois community is concerned about the trees and the nature. When the king heard the news with remorse, he banned felling of trees in the Bisnoi forest forever. The Bisnois have religiously followed these eco-friendly rules since generally there have been many incidences of nature protection by this community. The government of India has instituted the Amrita Devi Wildlife Protection Award, the award named after Amrita Devi, to be given to village community that show valor and courage for the forest and wildlife protection. Like this is somehow this is the Bisnoi group Andolan which held and in the Chipko Andolan same thing happened, like people go and hug the tree that no, we cannot let you cut the tree. So what do we learn from the story? The Bisnois are an inspiring example of how human society can make environmental conservation a part of its tradition. Without environment, we cannot survive. Then, the last subtopic of this chapter, sustainable development. India is an emerging economy with diverse communities, cultures, and religions. It covers a vast geographical area and long coastline. Topographically, the Indian subcontinent is diverse. It has 10 distinctive biogeographic zones. India has been experiencing rapid growth in population, which has led to socio-economic inequity and rampant, uncontrolled growth patterns, which has led to environmental degradation. All this would obviously have long-term negative impacts on the environment and its consequences would be felt particularly by the socio-economically challenged groups and our future generations. Now, to combat the problems of unsustainable growth patterns, post-Stockholm Conference of 1972, India adopted the concept of sustainable development. So, in 1992, during the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which is UNCED, India became a part of the 187 countries pledging their commitment towards achieving sustainable development by signing the Rio Declaration. In 1992, during the Earth Summit of the UNCED, the role of education in achieving sustainable development was a major concern, which was under Agenda 21. Education has been considered as one of the basic requirement and tool towards achieving sustainable development. Educating people from all walks of life would serve the dual purpose of creating awareness about environment conservation and protection. Thus, safeguarding the environment would help to combat and reduce the socio-economic inequity by empowering people through education. The Government of India later recommended the Ministry of Human Resource Development to integrate environmental concerns, issues, and awareness in education at all levels. In its 57th meeting in December 2002, UNESCO 2002, the UN General Assembly proclaimed the UN Decade of Education for Sustainable Development DESD 2005 to 2015, emphasized that education is an indispensable element for achieving sustainable development. Education is often considered to be done in classrooms. According to UNESCO 2004, Education for Sustainable Development, which is ESD, is a formal education but it extends to daily social and professional life. ESD can make education participatory. This enhances the problem solving capacities of young people through processes which enable collaboration and dialogue. The concept of sustainable development, like what is sustainable development, how it refers to the development. So, sustainable development refers to a development which can meet the needs of the present generation without compromising on the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs, like the Brundtland Report 1971, which are mentioned in this report. So, there are three aims of sustainable development: first, economic, then environmental, then social. Economic is to attain balanced growth, environmental is to preserve the environment, and social to include all human communities to access all resources. Like this is the chart, like the three aims of sustainable development: environmental, economic, and social. Then the concept of needs refers to essential needs of human beings. Millions of people today do not have adequate food, proper house, clean drinking water, or basic education. The definition suggests that such essential needs of all people must be met with, but at the same time, patterns of development has to be such that future generations would also be able to meet their own needs from the resources without destroying or degrading nature. This may include water resource, productivity of various ecosystems, quality of air, etc. Development conventionally means enhancing economic well-being and wealth. Well-being of an individual or family and community depends on several factors apart from income levels. Development is more than economic growth. The development achieved in the short term may not continue over time and is unsustainable in the longer term. So, then the concept of sustainable consumption, like we are studying till now sustainable development. Now, sustainable consumption. Development is largely based on the use of resources, like the consumption of resources. Therefore, a change in the pattern of development requires a change in the pattern of resources used. The pattern of sustainable consumption relates to use of both renewable and non-renewable resources. For renewable resources, the use of a resource should not exceed the capacity of the environment to replenishing the resources. Non-renewable resources should be used with care as they can be totally used up. The natural available resources are shrinking because consumption levels are so high, our population is so high. Current consumption patterns are responsible for increasing pollution, which damages our environment. So there is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "There is sufficiency in the world for men's need, but not for men's greed." So, very deep meaning by Sri Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. In the recent past, consumerism has become a part of our daily life. There is also inequality in the way rich and underprivileged groups in the society use resources. Our excessive resource use creates excess amounts of waste. All this requires changes to be made in our lifestyles to prevent the further degradation of an environment. Each of us is creating a large environment footprint in our resource base. We all need to reduce our environmental footprint and create positive impacts to conserve our environmental resources for the future. This is now referred to as environmental handprint. In spite of India's rapid population growth, industrialization, and consumerism, our country still includes a wealth of natural resources which requires urgent conservation measures. Then there are some facts like do you know if 50 persons in an office use both sides of just 10% of the paper they use, the company can save 10 trees a year. The energy saved from recycling one glass bottle will light a 100-watt bulb for 4 hours. Plastic bags and other plastic garbage thrown into the sea kills a million sea creatures every year. So what can we do? Like what can you do? Be a wiser consumer. Buy things only when you need it. Do not waste the things. Develop a habit of using and reusing things and also educate others. Like don't waste the resources. They are very valuable. If the resources we can if we don't get the resources we cannot live. So use it wisely. So think on it. What will you do for sustainable development? Why today environment education is necessary? Why we are studying this? So think about it. So, that's it for today. This is the first chapter. And, thank you.